started, Pranav. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar from CallHippo on driving sales growth with a 360-degree approach, chat and call automation. I am Kalash, your host for the session, and I'm super excited to have you all here with us. We all know the sales landscape today isn't what it is used to be. Modern buyers now expect instant, personalized, and contextual communication. And to keep up sales, teams need more than just speed. They need smart agility across chat, calls, and automation. That is exactly what we'll be exploring today. How businesses can build a future ready sales process that blends human touch with automation to boost conversion and customer experience. Before I dive into things, I'd love to introduce my speaker for the day, Pranav Bhatnagar, a seasoned expert with over a decade of experience in customer engagement, retention, success strategy. Pranav currently leads customer success at CallHippo, where he helps businesses strengthen customer relationships through smarter communication and automation. Welcome, Pranav. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Moving ahead, I'd like to launch a quick question to engage with my audience to get to know you all. So, how many of you feel your sales team still loses leads due to delayed follow-ups or missed calls? You can drop a quick yes or no in the chat box. All right, I can see so many yes coming in the chat section. Okay, so one more related question. If you could resonate or empathize with the situation, how have you ever feel that as a consumer, when any sales calls come to you and they call you for a follow-up and they're asking the same questions the last agent have asked, and now you're irritated with the same kind of questions being asked. For example, what is your order ID? So the last agent also asked the same question, then AI agent is also asking the same question. You can again answer it in the chat section. That's annoying, right? We understand that problem, and which is why this session is going to be holistic around the 360-degree approach, balancing everything. And none other than Pranav is going to take care of the entire session. So without any further ado, I'd like to hand over the session to Pranav. Pranav, over to you.
Thanks a lot, Kalash, for the introduction, and thanks a lot to all of you for joining in. I'm really appreciative of all those who've taken time out to join this session. And so, just to set the tone up for the webinar, I think Kalash laid out a fair bit of foundation for what we are going to discuss within the webinar. But I'd like to contribute a little something from my end as well. So I think one of the problems that Kalash already highlighted was that the sales landscape, right? As I see it is that we are in this era of change, right? If you look at it from the sales team point of view, then we are at a point where AI is coming in and sales teams are kind of grappling around with how to fit AI into their toolkit. But if you see it from the customer point of view, the customer expectations are rapidly evolving. And, as Kalash pointed out, they're looking at conversations that are smarter. They're also looking at conversations that are hyper personalized and hyper contextualized, right? So those are some of the themes that we'd be visiting within this webinar, within the realm of the 360-degree approach that we are going to lay forward. Could we move on to the next slide, please? Great. So I think one of the things that we want to highlight over here is that right now in most of the companies, and as for our teams as well, what used to happen up until a couple of years ago was that we had a fragmented sales process. But now with AI coming in and a lot of automations coming in as a result of the AI processes, we want to move towards something that is an omni-channel approach, where you're able to manage all of the customer conversations within a single dashboard, right? Next slide. So here's what it is. Now, all of your customers are expecting responses within 10 minutes, right? So at least 82% of your consumers require an immediate response within 10 minutes, right? And that creates a challenge not only for the sales or any customer facing team for that matter, but it also creates a challenge from a customer perspective that how do you personalize your response within such a short time frame, right? And so if you were to go ahead and highlight that what customers exactly are looking for is that they want to have a personalized conversation that has the correct data. So a lot of customers come to me and they want to pull up data related to their connectivity in a certain geography, and we have to reply instantly because we just need to pull up certain data metrics for them and show them the data metrics with respect to that geography. So customers are looking to have hyper personalized conversations over here, and that could be through various channels, right? That could be through calls, that could be through chats, that could be through other channels as well, right? So what we are moving towards now is that there is a shift from companies following a reactive approach to a proactive approach, right? Where you have to constantly engage customers and constantly be on your toes, sales team and customer facing teams specifically, and you have to constantly engage customers and give them data metrics that will help you have smarter conversations. Moving on to the next slide. So we were just talking about a fragmented channel approach, right? Now, the fragmented channel approach, as opposed to an omni-channel approach, brings about certain challenges. So as Kalash pointed out at the start of the webinar, that you may miss leads due to delayed responses. So for example, any response that's not done within a specific time frame, that lead goes cold, right? And I was driving, like in my company before this, I was driving an inside sales team. So I saw that over there, that if your response, once the demo is done and your response doesn't go live within 10 minutes, the customer is likely to go cold, right? So your chances of converting that customer drastically reduce. The second and the more important aspect is that as a business, you want to gain, as a business and as a customer alike, you want to gain some actionable insights, right? And if your data is fragmented across various tools, right? So if I look at it, sales data is housed in HubSpot, customer success data may be housed in Gainsight, and then there may be other analytics tool where you have your data. That poses a problem because to make this data come together, integrate all of these data sources and draw actionable insight out of this is a problem that you guys need to solve, right? So then if you have an omni-channel approach, all of your conversations are housed in one place and all of your customer data is residing over there, right? So I think that's one of the advantages why we want to move towards the omni-channel approach. The second and the most obvious point is that, of course, if you're within an omni-channel approach, that you would have higher efficiency. And so the productivity of the agents is going to be higher. And therefore, I think what we are going to talk about moving forward within this webinar is how we are bringing all of these channels together, A, to bring about efficiency, B, to engage customers better and have smarter conversations, and C, of course, with the AI aspect coming in, we are going to talk about a bunch of automations that I've learned working with customers in the past and that have worked out for most of my customers, right? Moving on. Great. So here's the 360-degree chat and call automation framework, right? Now, as I said, that if you are using multiple tools, the key challenge is that the stakeholders may not have actionable insights related to that data, right? So for example, uh, if you were to talk to me about your connectivity, and if you were to say that hey, I'm calling global countries, but I want to identify that which are the top countries where I'm getting the highest connectivity or where I'm getting the highest conversion rates, right? And so I can pull up that data and give that data to you. But wouldn't it be wonderful if you could sort of slice and dice data to see that which are the exact time zones where you're getting the most connectivity, which are the exact geographies where you're getting the highest highest conversion rates. So I think all of those slicing and dicing of data can only be done when you're moving towards a unified channel approach, right? Which would mean that you have a centralized system that's connecting all the channels. So all of your customer conversations, which are housed in, let's say, call by via calling, via chat, or via voice, whatever. So all of those communications are centralized, and you're actually able to draw out insights and make business decisions on the basis of that, right? Another obvious advantage is that you'd be able to automate workflows, and you'd be able to make the chat assignment process better or the call routing process better. And that would mean that, agents have a certain type of efficiency as well, right? There's also the possibility that, a certain tier of customers may be completely automated. So for example, for my team, I always look at the fact that, hey, if we have some lower tier customers, how are we able to recreate the experience that human agents are giving them via AI, right? So I want to sort of automate that layer of customers altogether, and then there would be no human touch, but only AI agent touch, right? So those are some of the advantages of bringing a unified channel approach, right? The Another obvious advantage is that you would have visibility into all of the conversations that the agents are having with the customers. So if I, at the end of the day, need to look into the fact that, hey, what were the conversations that worked out versus what were the conversations that didn't work out, then I can see that via unified dashboard, and you can take up, if there are any conversations that need immediate attention of L2 superior or L3 superior, they can just go ahead and take that up. Moving on to the next slide. Yep. So we've been talking about a unified channel approach, right? One of the key elements that we went live with a few quarters back was that we wanted to sort of integrate all of your customer conversations into one single dashboard. And then I think most of you who've been using CallHippo for a while were obviously using the calling aspects, but then we wanted to integrate certain other channels like SMS, WhatsApp, and there are other channels that customers always ask us for. Recently we've integrated a couple of other channels like email as well, right? So we wanted to create a single dashboard for you to manage all of your customer conversations, and that obviously gives a different kind of depth to every interaction that you have with the customer, right? So you can go ahead, track and respond to conversations collaboratively. So if a chat comes across, any agent that is available can pick it up and respond to it within a relatively shorter time frame, right? So you can just collaborate on solving a particular customer issue, right? Then the second aspect is that you could just go ahead and look at all of the customers that have been engaging well with you, and then can define the priority of your engagement, right? And so you're likely to reach out to the customers that have been engaging well with you, and not likely to reach out to customers that have not been engaging well, right? So we give you the prioritization matrix right there within the dashboard and show you that, hey, these are the customers that have been engaging relatively well. So there is a higher likeliness of the agent reaching out to you. And then, of course, you can have faster resolutions, because since everything is housed in a single dashboard and all of your tools are right there, the agents don't have the need to switch to a different tool. You don't have to play between, your CRM, your CSM tool, and a bunch of other tools to monitor customer data. All of that is housed within a single dashboard. Is this all making sense? We are going to keep questions for the last, right? So in case you have any questions, just sort of jot them down, and I'm going to take them up at the end of the webinar. Can we move on to the next slide, Kalash? Great. Now, here are some of the improvisations that AI has brought into our world, right? Now, AI is the buzzword, and everybody wants to drive the AI wave, right? So you see every tool having an AI aspect to it today. But then I think the core problem was that how can we help customers have smarter conversations with AI? right? And there are obvious answers to that with ML algorithms that we have working in the background. You can have more personalized data for conversations. But then the core problem that we wanted to solve over here is that how can we help you guys engage better with the customer and have better data-driven conversations with the AI aspect, right? So then certain advantages of that is that in the AI tools that we have introduced, you can go ahead and look at the lead scores for your leads, right? Using we score leads on the basis of ML algorithms, right? And then there is also an intelligent routing mechanism that can sort of route chats, any incoming chats or any incoming calls to an agent, right? A good example of that would be that, for example, one of my customers had come to me with a problem saying that, hey, we have a high missed call rate in the business in the off business hours, right? And so this was a Canadian e-commerce enterprise. Imagine an e-commerce enterprise missing out on orders just because there are no agents available, right? And in a traditional scenario, what they would do is that they would hire agents in the Philippines and then go ahead and ask those agents to work during the US time zone, right? Typical scenario. And what I suggested to them was that, hey, if you deploy our AI chat agent and AI voice agent combined, then what we can do is that we can not only go ahead and reduce your FTR, which is the first time response, we can also pull up information from Shopify or any of the other tools that you have and give the status of orders to the customers, right? So that was one of my first conversations with a customer that had put up a use case related to AI. But it was really interesting in the sense that we really created value over there. We brought down their first response time by at least 25 to 30%, resolving queries in the off business hours, which were not at all done by human agents. It was totally AI, right? So you can have intelligent routing in our system. Then you can obviously filter out all of the low quality leads that are existing within the system. And you can also have a transfer mechanism wherein if you see that this is a high value lead and should be dealt with a human agent, then the AI is intelligent enough to route it to a human agent, right? Of course, not to mention that unlike a human agent, an AI agent does not have the limitation of working for a specific amount of hours. It can work for you around the clock, around time zones, anything, right? So you can go ahead and have calls, chats going on around the clock without any concerns about time zones, all that, right? Moving on to the next slide. Personalized conversations is an area of my interest, right? Now, AI can largely contribute to personalized conversations quite a lot. First up, if all of your data resides within a single dashboard, right? We know that what conversations are you having with customers via calls, via chats, via any other platforms, right? And all of the data that is coming in, the valuable insights that are coming in, we are able to sort of put that into a cohesive dashboard, which will show you that what kind of conversations are your agents having, right? So just to mention a few top advantages or top use cases, that for example, you can have for enterprise customers, you can have customer scripts, custom scripts, right? So there is a different way of engaging with an enterprise customer as you would engage with a SMB customer. So you can have custom scripts via customer segments, and agents can abide by those scripts, right? You can also have different troubleshooting mechanisms if you are a support team, right? Or any team that works with post sales as well. So you can have custom troubleshooting scripts for troubleshooting processes and troubleshooting scripts for different segments of customers, right? You can also go ahead and fetch data from any tools, right? So I think most of our data, when we talk about, resides in tools like Mixpanel or probably Amplitude or Google Analytics and a bunch of CRMs, right? So you can draw data from all of those tools. And as I said, that all these tools are integrating data to give you actionable business insight, and you can have conversations with the customer based on that, right? And finally, you can just go ahead and make adjustments to your pitch, dynamic adjustments to your pitch based on the data that you see, right? One of the core aspects that I'm very passionate about is that we can, with the advent of AI, we can have multilingual communication with the customers, right? Again, going back to this example of a customer that I was working with in the US, they wanted, the limitation was that they wanted to reach out to the Spanish segment, Spanish speaking segment in the US, which is huge. But then they were not able to do so because they had to hire agents, and they were not able to hire agents that spoke Spanish, right? So I suggested them a resolution for that, that you can use our AI agent, and that has Spanish handling capabilities. And so both for chat and for calls, they rolled out the Spanish AI agent, right? And it worked wonderfully well from them, so for them. So some of the metrics that they were tracking were response times. So their response times reduced by at least 40%, and there were a bunch of other facilities or advantages that they got from there. Moving on to the next slide. Yep. It's very important to capture the sentiment of your customer. And so with AI, you can easily go ahead and do that. In fact, just the other day I was having communication with my team that we should sort of figure out the sentiment via customer segment as well, right? So for example, I want to figure out that what is the sentiment of my product, or of my product for enterprise customers, versus what is the sentiment for mid-market versus SMB customers, right? So you can have data via cohorts. That's one of the core advantages that AI can give you. And so you can just go ahead and have real-time data related to any sort of customer sentiment. If the customer is engaging well with you, or if the customer is not engaging well with you, you can have usage related data. I think usage related data for any customer success people or customer support people is very essential over here. You can also detect that if the customer is frustrated with your product. So for example, if they're not giving you good NPS scores, or if they're dropping off quite a lot from a particular page, right? So you can just track that via AI. AI is really good to track that. And then of course you can also give you emotional context before handing off to a human agent, right? So for example, if a customer having conversation with me is frustrated or is irate, right, while handing off to a human agent, I can obviously pass on some kind of a emotional context related to the sentiment of that customer, right? So I think overall sentiment analysis, I think we launched it at least a year back, right? And it has gained great popularity between our customers, just to sort of identify that, hey, what kind of conversations are we having with customers? Again, in a traditional scenario, what you would do is that you would go ahead and hire a QC team to QC all of the calls that you were having with the customers, or all of the chats that you were having with the customers. Now imagine a scenario where all of your calls and chats are in a single dashboard, and there's also a sentiment attached to it, right? So what all you have to do is log into that dashboard, do a filter that, hey, how many of my conversations are positive sentiment, or how many conversations are negative sentiment. And then you can figure out certain automations to from the dashboard itself to handle those cohorts, right? So just an automation for myself, what I've done is that for my team, any of the conversations that we are having with the customer which are in the red zone, there is an email that goes out that, we understand that, your experience wasn't the best. However, we would love to optimize this, and we sort of learned the key challenges that were there within the conversation with that particular customer, right? So such automations can be easily handled via a single dashboard, and with AI coming into the play. Moving on to the next slide. Right. So I think these are certain industry specific use cases that I wanted to put out for you, right? Because we have a bunch of customers that we work with and that are spread across a lot of verticals. But then these are the prominent industries where I think AI seems to be making a difference, right? So IT service companies, we work with them quite a lot, and IT service companies generally receive a lot of inbound queries, right? Which can easily be automated through AI tools. Recently, we've launched something called a conversational agent, where you can create workflows, and you can handle various customer conversations, and the customer conversations can totally be handled via AI, unless the customer agrees that I want to book a demo, or I want some very specific details. So you can route to a human agent, but the conversational flow can handle the complete conversation for you. So that's one of the industries that we've where we have created a difference. Another, as I said, that e-commerce is one industry where a lot of our customers seem to be using the AI agent for cutting down on response time, because um, if AI is not there and we are using human agents, right? I don't by any means mean to replace human agents, but then if AI is not there and everything is being handled by human agents, then the response times are a lot longer. But if AI comes into place and everything is being handled with a single dashboard, then the first time responses, the resolution times, all of those are cut down by at least 30 to 50%, right? That's what at least my experience has been. Other than the fact that you can just ask the AI agent, have a simple conversation with them that, hey, where is my order? And then the AI would go ahead and pick that information up from Shopify or Gorgias or any of the tools that you're using, and give you the actual real-time order status, right? Another industry that's worked well with AI is healthcare. So all of your appointment bookings within the healthcare domain can totally be handled by AI. I work with this company in the UK, which is, I think, a dental clinic, and now they're expanding into US and Latin countries as well. So they are handling currently their booking process via the AI agent, and the AI agent can route calls to different departments. It can also take bookings for different departments. It can go ahead and drop an invite right onto your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar or your Calendly, whatever you're using, and book appointments for you over there, right? And this is not only for healthcare. I've seen this with many industries. I mean, in case you are doing some outreach and you want to go ahead and book demos for the customers, so we have an auto dialer that allows you to churn your data, and then the AI agent can handle all of the incoming calls, and then you could just go ahead and book demos on the customer's calendar right there and then. Moving on to the next slide. Yep. So talking about our AI agent, I just wanted to sort of outline, what features our AI voice agent has as of now versus, what is the impact that it creates for the customers. So I think if I just put this into two major buckets, personalized conversations is what AI is really good at having. And personalized conversations does not only mean that, it's addressing you by name or is picking up your address or the correct details related to a customer. It's also about having data to have a smarter conversation. So for example, if I were to tell you that, hey, your connectivity rate seems to be highest within US, right? So why don't you take these 5 steps to enhance your conversion rates, right? Now that sort of data really contributes to the trust that you're building with the customer, because the customer actually sees sense in that, and it's able to, that's actionable insight. You can go ahead and turn that into something that's going to impact your business. So personalized conversations are really important. Then you can just go ahead and cut down your first response times or any kind of resolution times by a great margin. So it increases the efficiency of your team altogether, right? And it also goes ahead and does smart allocation within your team. So one of the examples over there is that, in CallHippo, we have this feature called primary team and a backup team. So if your primary team is not available, either the AI agent can handle that. So you don't really need to have a backup team at all. Now, if your team is not available, the AI agent can automatically take up your conversations and resolve your conversations, right? Some of the key aspects that we've contributed to is that it's a multilingual bot, right? And so you'd be able to see that most of our customers want to have conversations in Spanish, right? Can you guys still hear me? Yep. Okay, great. Okay, so most of our conversations most of our customers that are in the US market want to have conversations in Spanish. Most of our customers that are in Europe want to have conversations in French, Spanish, and a variety of other languages. And a few of our customers want to have conversations in Japanese, Korean, Chinese, all of these languages, right? And so you don't really need to have human agents now. In a traditional scenario, what you would do is go out to a freelancing website, or hire anyone who would know all of these languages. But now the AI can handle all of that for you, right? And so your outreach to majority of the markets has increased. Yep. So you're out. Kalash, you have.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you in between, Pranav. Actually, there are a few questions coming. So I just want to inform the audience that please save your questions till end. We'll be taking up all of your questions in the end. And meanwhile, if you get any other questions, you can note it down so you can ask it all together. So Richard asked one question, so which is why I had to interrupt you and
Great.
uh,
Richard, put out a pen and a paper, jot that down. I'll come to the end of the webinar and we'll take all those up. I'll open the floor to questions shortly. I think we've got just a few more slides to go, and then I'll open the floor to questions and we'll take questions up, give you ample time for answering your questions. Right. So moving on. So multilingual aspect is, of course, something that appeals to me quite a lot. Of course, personalization is there, and the AI has contextualization features, which are all built upon data. In the past, we've also seen that, your retention rates are enhanced because you're having much better conversations with the customer. For my team, that is something that is essential because, most of what we do is based upon user retention, getting revenue, all of that, right? So if you are able to have personalized and contextualized conversations with the customer, there is a twofold advantage of A, your revenue goes up, B, your retention is enhanced, right? So that's a win-win situation for both. Moving on to the next slide. Yep. So this is just some of the love that customers have shown us in the past. And, I really like to talk about the value that we've created. So this is a totally support use case. And in case any of you are from the support team or are heading support for your companies, then this is something that may resonate with you. All right. So this is a customer, Mercado Libre, and they reached out to us with a problem that, again, we wanted to automate their L1 support totally. And then after deploying our AI voice agent, at least 75 to 80% of their calls were totally resolved, right? And it was done in multiple languages. So again, they had a question. You can see the LATAM over there. So they had a use case for Spanish, which was their major languages, and then also Portuguese. So for Portuguese and Spanish, all of their 75 to 80% of their volume was cut down, right? And their NPS rose. So that was some of the aspects that worked really well for Mercado Libre. If we go on to the next slide, you would see. Yep. So if we go back to the next slide, then yeah. So Harmony Health Group, right? Another customer that we worked with, and so this is purely for an outbound use case. So they were missing their appointment calls, right? And so this was a healthcare company, and they wanted to just go ahead and raise the appointment bookings. And we ended up deploying the AI agent and raising up their appointment bookings by 55%, right? And that was a significant achievement because they were missing a lot of their bookings, and we contributed to that. And in response to that, their patient satisfaction also rose up by 25%, right? So two of the numbers that work hand in hand and gave me great satisfaction that we deployed the AI voice agent for them and their numbers improved. Moving on to the next slide. Yeah. And so this is basically, how the transformation has happened for a lot of our customers, and we'd love for you to join the AI voice agent group, right? But For support teams, we've contributed in reducing first response time, resolution times, all of these metrics. And for any sort of outbound teams, right, we have contributed by increasing the number of demos at least by 25 to 30%, right? There's very specific data that, this slide gives you that we've drawn from a sample size of all the customers that we've been dealing with. But I mean, if I were to put it in a nutshell, then of course the AI voice agent deployment has created great value to a lot of our customers. Moving on. Yeah. So you can sign up for the AI agent, right? We are giving out free trials to the AI agent, and I think some of you may have already seen the AI agent in the product, or may have reached out to my team or the support team to sort of get a run through of the AI agent. But the AI agent can give great value if you're looking at something that is outside of business hours. If you want to go ahead and take queries, that is one area it can create value. If you're looking at targeting other markets where your human agents are not able to contribute right now, the AI agent can go ahead and totally do that for you. If you're a sales team that wants to qualify inbound leads, we can go ahead and do that for you. If you want to increase the number of demos that you're getting in a particular week or a particular month, the AI agent can totally do that for you, right? All of this put aside, like, this is the core business value, but all of this put aside, what I find really interesting about CallHippo's AI agent is that for some of the other products, right, for people who are non-technical like me, then you can have a lot of trouble playing around with the AI agent because those products are complex to deal with, right? But our AI agent is really simple to deal with. It has a great user experience. You can set up an AI agent in as short as a minute, right? So if you were to sort of just create an AI agent, plug in the resources that you wanted to train on, the training of the AI agent can happen in as short as 1 minute, right? That is something that blows me off really. And so this is what I really communicate to all of the customers that I deal with, that your AI agent has to be, of course, good with data, good with all of the conversations, personalization, contextualization. But what good is it if you're not able to use it the correct way, right? And so the user experience that we are giving with our AI agent is one of the key elements that I'd like to highlight. Um, I think that's majorly it from my side. Now, I'm happy to jump into questions. Before I do, I'm happy to also tell you guys that, if any of you guys want to try out our AI agent, feel free to give us a buzz, and we'd be able to do that. I think Kalash wants to show a video of our AI agent right there, and then we'll jump into questions.
Okay, so Pranav, just let me know that the video is playing correctly or not, and the voice is clear to the viewers or not.
I don't see it playing correctly.
Hey, welcome to Talk Smart with Alicia, where two AIs dive into the future of communication. I'm Nova, your virtual host, and today I'm joined by CallHippo's voice AI, Alicia, who's already redefining how businesses do sales and support.
Hey, Nova. So happy to be here. Honestly, I've been waiting to hop on a podcast where I'm not just answering customer queries, I get to talk back.
Right? So today's topic is a perfect one to start with. Talk Smart with Alicia, AI voice agent. Let's dig into what you actually do, how you do it so effortlessly, and why so many businesses are turning to agents like you.
So, for starters, I'm a 24/7 AI voice agent built to manage inbound customer support calls. I answer questions, guide users through products, transfer them to human agents when needed, and I even help with upselling features when the moment's right.
That's a lot, and you sound incredibly natural doing it, like no robotic weirdness at all.
Thanks. That's the goal. I've been trained to speak just like a real person, calm, clear, helpful, with zero burnout. Most people don't even realize I'm AI until I tell them.
Okay, that's super cool. And it's not just about saving time, it's about smarter conversations.
Totally. And this is just the beginning. In future episodes, we'll dive into live use cases, real numbers, behind the scenes on how I work, and talk to the people who build and use me every day.
All right, that's a wrap for our very first episode of Talk Smart with Alicia. If you liked what you heard, stick around, because we've got a lot more smart talk coming your way.
Great. So I'm happy to jump into questions now. Kalash, can we have the questions coming in?
Thank you so much, Pranav, for those valuable insights. So the audience, now we have open floor for your questions. You can drop the questions in chat section, or you can drop your questions in the Q&A part. Okay, so we already have a question. Dinesh is asking, what is the difference between AI agent and host?
AI agent and?
Host. So are you talking about the video that we just saw? That was just a sample video our design team created just to portray, uh, Alicia defining herself, and yeah. So it was just a video. It is not. Yeah. Thank you. I'd like to take up Richard's question. I hope Richard is still around. So Richard is saying, I am from Ghana, Africa, if I'm not pronunciating wrong. I run an AI automation agency. My market is business in Ghana and Africa at large. I'd like to learn how I can build a voice AI customer support with your platform using a local number. Can we?
Wow. That sounds wonderful. Yeah. Richard, are you still around? Okay. No
Yes.
worries. So I think just to answer that question for the benefit of the others, firstly, great to meet you, Richard, and great to learn that you're from Ghana. I think a couple of things that you can do. I'm not sure what the nature of your business is exactly, but if you want to build out a voice bot, we are sure to help you with that. I think if you want to sync up with one of our teams, then we can have detailed conversations about how we can align with your use case. But pretty much, if you've been using CallHippo or if you sign up for CallHippo, the AI voice agent creation is very simple. You would see it on your dashboard, and you can just go ahead and get started. The technical part of it, as I said, that we've been imparting a wonderful. Okay, Richard is here. Hi. Okay, so as I said, the technical part of it is not very difficult, right? So the setup process doesn't take long, but we would sure want to understand that, what use case do you want to use the AI agent for? If you're looking at automating support, we've worked with a bunch of support teams where we've automated workflows. So the first step is to understanding all of those workflows in detail for you, and then sort of structuring out workflows that would automate each of these. And we could follow a multi-channel approach as well. So for example, if you tell me that, hey, we want to start off the conversation via a chat mechanism, or we want to sort of start off a conversation with a call mechanism, we can go ahead and integrate multiple channels as well over there, right? So I'm happy to have a detailed conversation with you regarding that. I can you can give a buzz to any of our team members, and we'd have a detailed conversation about that. Any other questions?
Yes, we have one more question from Vivek. What KPI should businesses track to measure and maximize the impact of communication with AI automation? So there are two questions: how to maximize the impact of communication with automation, and how to track.
Great question. And all this while I've been talking about data and how it contributes to personalization and contextualization. So you do want to make sure that you're tracking the right metrics, right? Now, we can segment this into two. So for example, if you're looking at something that is more of a support use case, then of course, some of the metrics that you want to track regarding conversations is that what is your resolution time, what is your first time response, right? What is your CSAT, what kind of an impact are you creating with those customers? And when I say impact that you're creating with customers, is that all of your issues are not recurring in nature? Because if it's something that recurring in nature, that you want to address that via product, right? So you want to track the number of queries that have relapsed, or the number of queries that are recurring in nature. From a support perspective, I think some of the metrics that I have tracked for my customers internally are all of the metrics that I talked about. Retention rate is another one of the metrics that you can look at, right? So you can see that, what is the customer's retention rate. So you can look at that as well. That's for a support team. Now, for a sales team, right, you can obviously track metrics like engagement score. That is one of the key metrics that I want to track when I'm working on a sales deal, because I want to understand that how my engagement differs from an enterprise customer to a mid-market customer to an SMB customer. So engagement score is one. Then you can also go ahead and map out the probability of the conversion, right? So how likely is this deal to convert, or how likely is this deal to get into a certain outcome, right? So what we do is that, I handle customer success over here, so we create opportunities for any sort of upsell or cross sell that we are doing, and then we assign it a score related to what is the probability of that conversion for that particular deal, right? And similar scenario can happen with the sales team as well, right? So I think those are the two metrics that I can think of the top of my head right now. If there are any metrics that come up, I'll be sure to hand that out to you.
Okay, so as we are around the time to, wrap up the session, I'd like to take the last question from Dinesh. So Dinesh is saying we are a cloud and cybersecurity service provider, and our requirement is to sell services via this tool. So basically, what all things he can do with CallHippo and to sell his services. So would you
Got
like to quickly list down?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I think when you're looking to sell your services via an AI agent, right? What I first want to understand is that what does your sales process look like at the present moment, right? And it would give me great pleasure to sort of understand your sales cycle in detail and align the AI agent to that. But just to give you a generic response, what the AI agent can do for you is, if you have a lead qualification script, or if you have any sort of lead qualification resources, you can train the AI agent on that, and the AI agent can work on bringing more demos to you, or if you want to pitch if you require the AI agent to pitch the product right there and then and close a customer right there and then, right? Depending upon the ticket size of your customers, that can also happen, right? So both scenarios are possible. But what I would ideally want you to do is that if your sales cycle is differing via the ticket size that you're catering to, SMB versus mid-market versus enterprise, right? The AI involvement in all of these three segments is going to be different, because your enterprise customers are going to be some customers that are high touch customers, so you would want to have a human agent contribute to that conversation, versus your mid market and your SMB customers can be somewhere where your AI agent involvement is high, right? So those sort of metrics we want to map out while we talk about your sales process in detail. But out of the top of my head, you could just go ahead and have an AI agent book demos for you, or close out deals for you if they're of a smaller ticket size. For larger ticket size, you would want to have some kind of human involvement as well. Make sense? Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks,
so Dinesh has
Dinesh.
got a
Appreciate it.
follow-up question. Okay, we can still take this up. If can we have a trial testing? Yes. What will be the price after trial? That thing our sales team will connect with you right after this webinar. And if still not, I will, or Pranav will share the entire details with you within a day or two. How much duration of a trial? Can you help uh, answer this question, Pranav? How many days of trial do we have? We have, I guess, 7 days of trial, right?
So it's typically 7 to 10 days, so you can try
Okay.
the product out,
Yes.
right?
And
And
what is covered in trial and paid license?
yes,
Okay, so all these questions our sales teams can better answer to you, Dinesh, and we'd love to connect with you and discuss about your product in detail. And with this, we are all set to wrap up the webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for engaging and having all these questions. A big thanks to Pranav for sharing those actionable insights with us today. And
so
if
much.
you found, yeah, yes, please.
Thank you so much. I mean, you guys have been a wonderful audience. Thanks for all of those questions. And would love to sync up with you if you guys have any specific questions around the deployment of AI agent for your respective teams. Just give me a shout out and it'll be wonderful to talk to you in detail.
And in the end, if you all found this session valuable, don't forget to share your feedback in the thank you email that we're going to send you, and connect with us for future webinars. On behalf of the entire team, I am Kalash signing off, wishing you all success as you take your sales processes to the next level. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.